Loyalty is a powerful force in human relationships, one that transcends mere words and gestures. It represents a deep commitment, a bond built on trust, respect, and consistency. When a man gives his loyalty, he is offering a piece of himself, his time, his effort, and most importantly, his heart. Loyalty is not something handed out freely. It is earned over time, nurtured through shared experiences and mutual understanding. It becomes the glue that holds connections together, creating a foundation that feels unshakable. When someone betrays a loyal man, the act cuts deeper than it might for others. The betrayal is not just about a singular action, it shatters an intricate web of trust and dedication that has been carefully woven over time. Loyalty, by its very nature, is a reciprocal exchange. A loyal man doesn't expect perfection, but he does expect honesty and commitment in return. Betrayal, then, is not just a violation of trust, it is a dismissal of everything that loyalty stands for. It says to him, your effort, your consistency, your love, your sacrifices, they do not matter. The pain of betrayal for a loyal man is magnified because his loyalty is not a casual trait. It is embedded in his identity. He is the person who stands firm when others waver, who offers a shoulder to lean on, who is there in moments of darkness and light. His loyalty is not contingent on convenience. It persists even when it's inconvenient. He is the one who shows up, who remembers the details, who fights for the people and causes he believes in. Betrayal, therefore, is not just an act of disloyalty. It feels like a personal attack on his very nature. This kind of betrayal is devastating because it disrupts the equilibrium of a loyal man's life. Loyalty brings stability. It creates a sense of safety and predictability in relationships. When someone chooses to betray him, they introduce chaos into his world. The betrayal forces him to question everything. Was the bond ever real? Were the shared moments of joy and connection genuine, or were they all a facade? This uncertainty is often more painful than the betrayal itself, as it undermines his ability to trust not only others, but also his own judgment. A loyal man is often deeply reflective, and betrayal sends him into a spiral of introspection. He replays moments, conversations, and decisions, searching for signs he might have missed. He wonders if he gave too much, if his loyalty made him vulnerable, or if he misjudged the character of the person who betrayed him. This reflection can be both enlightening and tormenting. It forces him to confront uncomfortable truths about himself and others. Yet it is also a testament to the depth of his character, his willingness to seek understanding, even in the face of profound pain. What makes the betrayal of a loyal man so significant is the contrast it creates. His loyalty is unwavering, a constant in a world that is often fickle and self-serving. When someone chooses to betray him, they are choosing to reject not only his loyalty, but also the values he embodies: integrity, commitment, and authenticity. This rejection stings because it highlights a painful reality. Not everyone values what he offers. It is a reminder that loyalty, while noble, is not universally reciprocated or appreciated. The betrayal of a loyal man often comes from someone close to him, someone who has benefited from his loyalty. This proximity makes the act even more painful. It's one thing to be betrayed by a stranger or an acquaintance. It's another to be betrayed by someone you have invested in emotionally, someone you have gone out of your way to support, someone you believe shared your values. The closer the bond, the deeper the wound. For a loyal man, the act of betrayal can feel like a death of sorts. It marks the end of an era, the loss of something he held dear. Yet this loss is not just emotional, it is also symbolic. It represents the collapse of a belief system, the shattering of an ideal he has lived by. Loyalty is not just about what he does, it is about who he is. Betrayal, then, is not just a loss of trust, it is a challenge to his identity. When betrayal happens, it forces a loyal man to confront difficult questions about the nature of loyalty itself. He may wonder if it is a virtue or a vulnerability. Is it a strength to remain steadfast in a world that often takes loyalty for granted, or is it a flaw to invest so deeply in others? These questions are not easily answered, and the process of grappling with them can be profoundly isolating. Yet even in his isolation, the loyal man does not abandon his principles. Loyalty is not something he can turn off. It is woven into the fabric of his being. The weight of loyalty is something that only those who possess it can fully understand. It is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. A loyal man takes this responsibility seriously, often to his own detriment. He gives without expecting, he supports without seeking recognition, and he stands firm even when it would be easier to walk away. This selflessness is what makes his loyalty so valuable, and also what makes betrayal so devastating. It is a violation of a sacred trust, a dismissal of a gift that was offered freely and without reservation. A loyal man's response to betrayal is unlike what many might expect. While others may react with loud declarations, fiery confrontations, or vindictive actions, his response is often rooted in silence and restraint. This silence is not born of weakness or an inability to express his emotions. It is deliberate, calculated, and profoundly powerful. A loyal man understands that words in the heat of the moment can lose their weight. They can be dismissed, argued against, or misinterpreted. But silence cannot be ignored. It leaves an unmistakable void, an absence that resonates more profoundly than any spoken response ever could. When someone betrays a loyal man, the initial moments can be a whirlwind of emotions: shock, disappointment, anger, and sadness. Yet, instead of succumbing to these emotions, he chooses to internalize them, not to suppress, but to process them thoughtfully. He knows that acting on raw emotions seldom leads to constructive outcomes. In his silence, he reflects deeply on the situation, on the actions that led to it, and on the choices he must now make. This silence becomes a space for him to regain his equilibrium, to ensure that his decisions are guided by clarity rather than chaos. Silence also serves as a mirror for the betrayer. It forces them to confront their actions without the distraction of a heated argument or an emotional outburst. When a loyal man chooses silence, it places the weight of the betrayal squarely on the betrayer's shoulders. They are left alone with their conscience, their guilt, and the repercussions of their actions. In many cases, this silence is far more unsettling than any verbal confrontation could ever be. Words can be argued against, but silence is undeniable. It is a void that demands introspection, leaving the betrayer to grapple with the full magnitude of what they've done. For the loyal man, silence is not just a reaction, it is a tool for teaching. He understands that actions and the absence of actions can communicate more effectively than words. By stepping back and refusing to engage, he sends a powerful message: I will not validate your actions by giving them my energy. I will not allow your betrayal to pull me into a place of negativity or chaos. His silence becomes a boundary, a way of asserting his worth and protecting his peace. It is a declaration that his loyalty is not to be taken for granted or treated carelessly. This silence is also a testament to his inner strength. It takes immense self-control to resist the urge to lash out, to demand explanations, or to seek closure through confrontation. A loyal man recognizes that true strength lies in restraint, in the ability to rise above the situation rather than being consumed by it. His silence is a reflection of his confidence and self-respect. It shows that he does not need validation from the person who betrayed him, nor does he need to justify his feelings or his choices. The absence of words does not mean the absence of action. A loyal man's silence is often accompanied by deliberate, purposeful actions. He may withdraw from the relationship, redirect his energy toward his personal growth, or focus on nurturing the connections that truly matter to him. These actions speak volumes, showing that he values himself enough to walk away from situations that no longer serve him. His silence is not a retreat, it is a repositioning, a way of prioritizing his well-being and integrity over the chaos of betrayal. For those on the receiving end of this silence, the impact can be profound. They may initially interpret it as indifference or weakness, but as time passes, they begin to feel its weight. The absence of the loyal man's presence, his support, and his unwavering commitment becomes glaringly obvious. His silence creates a void that cannot be filled, a reminder of what was lost. It is in this void that the biggest lessons are learned, not through angry words or vengeful actions, but through the undeniable realization of what betrayal has cost. The loyal man's silence also sets a standard, not just for the betrayer, but for anyone who witnesses his response. It shows that dignity and self-respect are not negotiable, even in the face of profound hurt. It is a quiet but powerful example of how to navigate betrayal with grace and strength. Those who observe this response often find themselves inspired. learning that true power lies not in the loudness of one's reaction, but in the depth of one's restraint. By refusing to engage in the negativity of betrayal, a loyal man protects his energy and preserves his peace. He knows that his silence is not an absence, it is an assertion. It is a way of saying without words that he values himself too much to be dragged into the chaos of someone else's choices. His silence becomes a shield, a way of maintaining his integrity while allowing the natural consequences of betrayal to unfold. It is a profound and unshakable declaration of his worth, one that speaks louder than any words ever could. Betrayal is not just a singular act, it is often a chain of choices and decisions that culminate in a breaking point. When someone betrays a loyal man, they are not simply committing an act of disloyalty, they are revealing their true character. This revelation is significant because it uncovers the values, priorities, and intentions that were once hidden beneath the surface. A loyal man, in his quiet reflection, begins to understand that betrayal is less about him and more about the person who chose to act in a way that undermined trust. The true nature of a person is often masked by words and superficial actions. Many individuals are skilled at presenting themselves in ways that align with what others expect or want to see. They may speak of integrity, loyalty, and commitment, but their actions may tell a different story. Betrayal strips away this facade, exposing the reality beneath. It is an unmasking, a moment of clarity that forces both the betrayer and the betrayed to confront the truth. For a loyal man, this unmasking is both painful and enlightening. It is painful because it shatters the illusion of trust he had placed in someone, and it is enlightening because it provides him with a deeper understanding of who that person truly is. The process of seeing someone's true nature through betrayal is often accompanied by moments of disbelief and denial. A loyal man may struggle to reconcile the image he had of the person with the reality that has been revealed. This struggle is a natural part of the healing process. He may question his judgment, wondering how he could have missed the signs or been so deeply misled. However, as time passes and the initial shock fades, the clarity that comes with betrayal becomes undeniable. The person's actions speak louder than any words they could offer, and their true nature becomes impossible to ignore. In many cases, betrayal reveals not just a lack of loyalty, but also a lack of self-awareness or maturity in the betrayer. It highlights their inability to value or reciprocate the loyalty they were given. A loyal man who values integrity and commitment sees this not as a reflection of his own shortcomings, but as a testament to the betrayer's character. He begins to understand that the betrayal was not about his worthiness, but about their inability to uphold the standards of loyalty and respect that he lives by. The unmasking of true character through betrayal is a transformative experience for a loyal man. It teaches him to pay closer attention to the actions and patterns of those around him. While he may have once given his loyalty freely, trusting others based on their words and initial behavior, he now becomes more discerning. He learns to look beyond the surface, to seek out consistency and authenticity in the people he allows into his life. This newfound awareness is not rooted in cynicism, but in wisdom. It is a way of protecting his loyalty and ensuring that it is directed toward those who truly value and deserve it. Betrayal also has a way of amplifying the contrast between the loyal man's character and that of the betrayer. While the loyal man remains steadfast in his principles, the betrayer's actions reveal a lack of integrity or alignment with those principles. This contrast is often stark, highlighting the differences in values and priorities that may have been overlooked in the past. For the loyal man, this realization can be both empowering and sobering. It reaffirms his commitment to his own values while challenging him to be more selective in the future. Another important aspect of seeing someone's true nature through betrayal is the understanding that actions are the truest measure of character. Words can be deceptive and intentions, while meaningful, can remain unrealized. Actions, however, are tangible. They reflect the choices a person makes when faced with decisions that test their values and commitments. Betrayal is one such test, and it reveals more about a person's character than any declaration of loyalty ever could. For a loyal man, this realization is both a lesson and a gift. It equips him with the ability to distinguish between those who talk about loyalty and those who live it. The clarity that comes with betrayal also extends to the loyal man's understanding of himself. As he reflects on the experience, he gains insights into his own values, boundaries, and capacity for forgiveness. He begins to see the strength in his loyalty, recognizing it as a rare and valuable trait in a world where many prioritize convenience over commitment. This self-awareness is a crucial part of his growth, allowing him to move forward with a deeper understanding of who he is and what he stands for. Through betrayal, a loyal man learns to trust not just in others, but in his own instincts and judgment. While the experience may leave scars, it also leaves him stronger and wiser. He understands that betrayal is not an indictment of his loyalty, but a reflection of the betrayer's inability to honor it. This understanding allows him to move forward without bitterness, carrying the lessons of betrayal with him as a source of strength and wisdom. Betrayal brings with it a wave of emotions, often overwhelming and difficult to navigate. For a loyal man, these emotions are particularly intense because loyalty is central to his identity. When that loyalty is met with betrayal, it is not just the relationship that is shattered, it feels like a direct assault on the values he holds dear. Amid this emotional turmoil, he confronts the reality of broken trust and a wounded heart. But what distinguishes a loyal man is his resilience, his ability to channel this emotional energy into avenues that heal and empower rather than destroy. Processing the emotional aftermath of betrayal is not a passive act. It begins with acknowledgement, a willingness to sit with the pain rather than suppress it. This is not easy, as the natural instinct is often to either lash out or numb the hurt. A loyal man, however, recognizes that healing requires confronting the rawness of his feelings. He does not shy away from the sadness, anger, or disappointment that comes with betrayal. Instead, he leans into these emotions, understanding that they are a natural and necessary part of the process. In the quiet of his reflection, he begins to separate his emotions from the actions of the betrayer. He understands that the betrayal was not a reflection of his worth or character, but a choice made by someone else. This distinction is crucial because it allows him to regain control over his narrative. He refuses to let the betrayal define him or dictate his future. Instead, he sees it as a chapter in his story, painful, yes, but also instructive. For a loyal man, processing the emotional impact of betrayal often involves a period of introspection and solitude. This is not about isolating himself out of bitterness, but about creating a space where he can think clearly and deeply. In this solitude, he examines the relationship that led to the betrayal, looking for patterns or red flags he may have overlooked. This introspection is not about self-blame, but about self-awareness. It is a way of understanding how he arrived at this point and what he can learn from it. The emotional weight of betrayal can also manifest as anger, a natural response to feeling wronged. A loyal man, however, understands the importance of channeling this anger constructively. He knows that holding on to resentment only deepens the wounds, preventing him from moving forward. Instead of allowing anger to consume him, he uses it as fuel for growth. This might mean focusing on his personal goals, investing in his passions, or building new relationships that reflect the loyalty and respect he deserves. Grieving the loss of trust is another vital step in processing betrayal. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and when it is broken, it leaves a void that cannot be easily filled. A loyal man allows himself to grieve this loss, acknowledging the pain of shattered expectations and broken bonds, but he does so with the understanding that this grief is not a permanent state. It is a passage, a necessary step on the path to healing and renewal. In the midst of this emotional journey, a loyal man also recognizes the importance of forgiveness, not for the sake of the betrayer, but for his own peace. Forgiveness does not mean condoning the betrayal or forgetting the betrayal or forgetting the pain it caused. It means releasing the hold that anger and resentment have over him. By choosing forgiveness, he frees himself from the emotional chains of the past, creating space for hope and possibility in the future. This process of emotional healing is not linear. There are moments of progress followed by moments of setback. A loyal man understands that healing is a journey, not a destination. He is patient with himself, allowing time to do its work. He leans on his inner strength, drawing from the resilience that has carried him through other challenges in life. In this journey, he may also seek support from those he trusts, friends, family, or mentors who can provide perspective and encouragement. These connections serve as a reminder that loyalty and trust still exist even in the face of betrayal. They reaffirm his belief in the goodness of people and the possibility of meaningful relationships. Processing the emotional impact of betrayal is not just about overcoming the hurt, it is about transformation. A loyal man emerges from this experience not as a victim, but as someone who has gained wisdom and strength. He carries the lessons of betrayal with him, not as a burden, but as a source of clarity and resilience. This transformation is a testament to his character, a reflection of his ability to turn pain into power and adversity into growth. Through this process, a loyal man reclaims his narrative. He refuses to let betrayal define him or dictate his future. Instead, he uses it as a catalyst for self-discovery and renewal. He emerges stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the values that guide his life. Betrayal often brings a sense of chaos and disorder into a loyal man's life. It disrupts his sense of stability, trust, and the understanding of the relationships he holds dear. Yet, in the face of this turmoil, he finds a way to restore balance by focusing on self-growth and transformation. Instead of dwelling in the darkness of what has been lost, he turns his gaze inward, seeking the light within himself. This journey is not an easy one, but it is a testament to his strength and resilience. The first step toward transformation begins with self-reflection. A loyal man understands the value of looking inward, not to place blame, but to seek understanding. He examines the dynamics of the relationship that led to betrayal, asking difficult but necessary questions. What signs did he miss? Were there moments when his intuition warned him, but he chose to ignore it? By engaging in this process, he gains clarity about not only the situation, but also himself. This clarity becomes the foundation for his growth, helping him to navigate future relationships with greater wisdom and discernment. In this period of self-reflection, a loyal man often discovers areas of his life that he may have neglected. Loyalty to others can sometimes come at the expense of loyalty to oneself. He begins to recognize the importance of prioritizing his own well-being, setting boundaries, and ensuring that his loyalty is reciprocated. This realization is transformative because it shifts his focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. He learns that his value does not depend on the loyalty of others, but on his ability to remain true to himself. As he embarks on this journey of self-growth, he embraces the idea of continuous learning. Betrayal becomes a catalyst for personal development, inspiring him to seek knowledge and wisdom that can guide him through life's challenges. This might mean reading books, attending seminars, or engaging in conversations with mentors who can offer valuable insights. He understands that growth is not a destination but a lifelong process, and he is committed to evolving in every area of his life. One of the most profound lessons a loyal man learns through betrayal is the power of resilience. Betrayal tests his ability to withstand emotional pain and uncertainty, but it also reveals the depth of his inner strength. He begins to see himself not as a victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in his own story. This shift in perspective empowers him to take control of his life, setting new goals and pursuing them with determination and focus. Part of this transformation involves reevaluating his priorities. Betrayal often serves as a wake-up call, forcing him to confront what truly matters. He may realize that he has invested time and energy in people or situations that do not align with his values or aspirations. This realization prompts him to make changes, letting go of what no longer serves him and creating space for what does. He becomes more intentional about the relationships he nurtures, the goals he pursues, and the life he wants to build. Self-growth is not just about looking inward, it is also about taking action. A loyal man channels his energy into activities that inspire and uplift him. He might develop new skills, explore creative outlets, or dedicate himself to a cause he is passionate about. These pursuits not only help him heal, but also reinforce his sense of purpose and identity. They remind him that his worth is not tied to the betrayal he experienced, but to the values and contributions he brings to the world. Another important aspect of self-growth is the cultivation of self-compassion. A loyal man learns to treat himself with the same kindness and understanding he has extended to others. He acknowledges that betrayal is a painful experience, but he refuses to let it diminish his self-esteem or self-worth. Instead, he uses it as an opportunity to nurture himself, building a strong foundation of self-love and respect that cannot be shaken by the actions of others. As he continues on this path, a loyal man becomes more attuned to his inner voice. He learns to trust his instincts and intuition, using them as a guide in his decision-making. This newfound trust in himself allows him to navigate life with greater confidence and clarity. He no longer second-guesses his choices or seeks external validation. Instead, he relies on his own wisdom and experience to lead the way. Transformation through self-growth also involves embracing change. A loyal man recognizes that growth often requires stepping out of his comfort zone and facing the unknown. While this can be intimidating, he understands that it is a necessary part of the journey. He approaches change with courage and an open mind, viewing it not as a threat but as an opportunity for expansion and discovery. Through this process of self-growth, a loyal man begins to rebuild his sense of identity and purpose. Betrayal may have shaken him, but it does not define him. Instead, it becomes a stepping stone toward a stronger, wiser version of himself. He emerges from the experience with a renewed sense of clarity, resilience, and determination. Silence is a powerful tool, often underestimated in its ability to communicate depth and strength. When a loyal man chooses to respond to betrayal with silence, it is not an act of submission, but one of profound self-mastery and strategic control. Silence allows him to reclaim his power, not through words or confrontation, but through presence and restraint. In the aftermath of betrayal, this silence becomes a reflection of his maturity and an embodiment of his inner strength. The choice to remain silent is deliberate and purposeful. It is not born out of an inability to express himself, but from a recognition that words in such moments often fail to achieve meaningful resolution. Confronting betrayal with heated arguments or pleas for explanation risks diminishing his dignity and feeding the conflict. By staying silent, he chooses a higher path, one that transcends the chaos and pettiness of the situation. His silence becomes a statement in itself, speaking volumes about his self-respect and composure. Silence also serves as a powerful mirror, reflecting the actions of the betrayer back to them. In the absence of words, the betrayer is left to confront their own guilt and discomfort without the distraction of rebuttals or justifications. This silence forces introspection, compelling them to reckon with the impact of their actions. It shifts the focus away from the loyal man and onto the betrayer, creating a space where accountability can no longer be avoided. For the loyal man, silence is not a passive act, but an active process of reclaiming control over his emotions and reactions. Betrayal has a way of igniting intense feelings, anger, sadness, confusion that can cloud judgment and provoke impulsive responses. By choosing silence, he creates a buffer between himself and these emotions, giving him the time and space to process them constructively. This self-restraint is a testament to his emotional intelligence and discipline, qualities that set him apart and allow him to navigate the situation with grace. Silence also protects him from the potential harm of reactive words. In the heat of the moment, it is easy to say things that might later be regretted, words that could escalate the situation or undermine his position. By refraining from speaking, he avoids falling into this trap. His silence becomes a shield, guarding his integrity and ensuring that he remains true to his values, even in the face of adversity. Another dimension of silence is its ability to command respect. In a world where reactions are often loud and impulsive, the ability to remain calm and composed is a rare and admirable trait. When a loyal man responds to betrayal with silence, it demonstrates his confidence and self-assuredness. It sends a clear message: he does not need to justify himself or seek validation from the betrayer. His silence is an assertion of his worth, a reminder that his loyalty and character speak for themselves. Silence also creates a sense of mystery and intrigue. It leaves the betrayer and perhaps others observing the situation, wondering about his thoughts and intentions. This uncertainty can be unsettling, disrupting the betrayer's expectations and undermining their attempts to manipulate or control the narrative. The loyal man's silence becomes a form of power, one that cannot be easily deciphered or challenged. For the loyal man, this silence is not just an outward response, but an inward practice. It becomes a space for reflection, growth, and healing. In the quiet, he can hear his own thoughts more clearly, free from the noise of external influences. He can evaluate the betrayal from a place of clarity, gaining insights that might otherwise be obscured by emotional turbulence. This introspection allows him to emerge stronger and more self-aware, better equipped to move forward with purpose and resolve. The practice of silence also fosters resilience. It teaches him to sit with discomfort, to endure the pain of betrayal without seeking immediate relief through confrontation or validation. This resilience strengthens his character, enabling him to face future challenges with greater fortitude. Silence, in this sense, is not a retreat, but a preparation, a way of fortifying himself for the journey ahead. In social and relational contexts, silence can also have a profound ripple effect. It challenges societal norms that equate loudness with strength and equanimity with weakness. When a loyal man chooses silence, he redefines the narrative, showing that true power lies not in the volume of one's voice, but in the depth of one's presence. His silence inspires others to reflect on their own reactions, encouraging a culture of thoughtful, measured responses. Lastly, silence is a form of liberation. It frees the loyal man from the cycle of blame, defense, and justification that often follows betrayal. By choosing not to engage, he steps outside this dynamic, reclaiming his time, energy, and focus for himself. His silence becomes an act of self-care, a way of prioritizing his own well-being over the demands of a toxic or unproductive interaction. Through silence, the loyal man transforms the experience of betrayal into an opportunity for growth and empowerment. He demonstrates that strength is not about dominating a situation, but about mastering oneself. His silence is not a void, but a presence, rich with meaning and purpose, shaping the way forward with dignity and resolve. The lesson taught by a loyal man through his silent response to betrayal is one that resonates deeply, even without a single word spoken. His actions, choices, and demeanor serve as a living testament to his character, values, and strength. The most profound lessons are often conveyed not through lectures or admonishments, but through quiet, deliberate action. When betrayal strikes, a loyal man instinctively understands that words often fall short of conveying the gravity of the situation. Instead, he uses his behavior as a powerful medium to deliver a message that leaves an indelible impact. The first aspect of this unspoken lesson lies in his unwavering commitment to dignity. Betrayal is an act that seeks to diminish and devalue, yet the loyal man refuses to stoop to the level of the betrayer. He remains composed, carrying himself with grace and poise, refusing to let the betrayal define his worth or dictate his response. This dignified stance is not only a shield against further harm, but also a mirror that reflects the stark contrast between his integrity and the betrayer's actions. His silence underscores his refusal to engage in pettiness or conflict, sending a clear message that he operates on a higher plane of character. Another layer of this silent lesson is found in his ability to detach. Betrayal often aims to create chaos and provoke emotional reactions, but the loyal man chooses a different path. He distances himself from the situation, not out of avoidance, but as a means of reclaiming his peace and focus. This act of detachment is a profound statement in itself. It signals that he values his inner well-being over external validation or engagement in unnecessary drama. By walking away from the betrayal without fanfare, he demonstrates the power of prioritizing oneself over the toxic dynamics that others attempt to impose. The loyal man's silent lesson also emphasizes the importance of self-respect. He does not beg for explanations, seek closure, or demand apologies, for he understands that his worth is not contingent upon the actions or words of others. This self-respect shines through in his refusal to entertain the betrayal or give it more significance than it deserves. By maintaining his boundaries and protecting his emotional space, he sets an example of how to honor oneself in the face of disrespect. This quiet assertion of self-worth is often more impactful than any verbal confrontation could ever be. Furthermore, the loyal man's silent approach is a masterclass in patience and timing. He knows that immediate reactions often lead to regret, and that true understanding of a situation unfolds over time. His silence creates a space for reflection, not only for himself, but also for the betrayer. It allows the gravity of the betrayal to sink in, forcing the betrayer to confront their actions without the distraction of arguments or counterpoints. This patience is a subtle yet powerful way of asserting control over the narrative, demonstrating that true strength lies in restraint rather than impulsivity. The loyal man also uses his silence as a tool for setting an example. His actions become a beacon of how to handle adversity with grace and strength. Those who witness his response are often inspired by his ability to remain calm and composed, even in the face of betrayal. His silence becomes a teaching moment, showing others that dignity and self-control are far more effective than anger or retaliation. This quiet leadership leaves a lasting impression, influencing those around him to approach their own challenges with a similar mindset. Through his silence, the loyal man communicates that betrayal is not the end of his story. He continues to live his life with purpose and determination, refusing to let the actions of others derail his journey. This resilience sends a powerful message to the betrayer and anyone observing the situation. He is not defined by what has happened to him, but by how he chooses to move forward. His silent perseverance is a testament to his inner strength, a reminder that he possesses the power to rise above any circumstance. The loyal man's silent lesson also highlights the futility of betrayal. By refusing to engage or react in predictable ways, he strips the betrayal of its intended impact. The betrayer, expecting drama or confrontation, is instead met with an unyielding calm that leaves them unsettled and introspective. This unexpected response disrupts their narrative, forcing them to grapple with the consequences of their actions in a way that words could never achieve. The loyal man's silence becomes a form of quiet justice, ensuring that the betrayer faces their own reckoning without external interference. At its core, the loyal man's silent lesson is a demonstration of strength through vulnerability. Betrayal is a deeply personal wound, yet he does not shy away from acknowledging his pain. Instead of masking it with anger or denial, he allows his silence to speak for the depth of his experience. This vulnerability is not a weakness but a profound form of courage, showing that true strength lies in embracing one's emotions without being consumed by them. It is a reminder that healing begins with acceptance, and that silence can be a powerful tool for processing and overcoming even the most painful experiences. Finally, the loyal man's silence serves as a call to accountability, not only for the betrayer but also for himself. It is an opportunity for him to reassess his own values, choices, and relationships, ensuring that he continues to align with what truly matters. His silence becomes a period of transformation where he emerges not as a victim but as a victor who has learned, grown, and strengthened through the experience of betrayal. His unspoken lesson is one of resilience, self-respect, and the unwavering belief that even the darkest moments can lead to light.